Yeah.
This side?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Activate Your Power Now. This is the Johnson County series, and today we are talking about true joy. And what a true joy it is to be able to be up here, share all of these amazing speakers with you. And as always, we're talking about where each one of us finds joy. So I encourage you to listen to each speaker and keep your mind open to what they're talking about and how it might relate to you and what you may need to get out of each individual one. And not everybody will be for you, and that's okay. That's all right. So today, as I said, we are talking about true joy. And each one of us today has a different take on joy, different experiences on what joy means to us and how we experience it. And that could have changed from the time that we arrived on this planet to where we are now. In fact, it likely has, even multiple times. So let's get right into the good stuff. And your first speaker is, well, let's just say she's amazing. And she's going to talk to you about breaking through your threshold, because we've all got to break through some thresholds in order to understand true joy, what it means for us, and how to live in it. Please welcome to the stage, Jay Ma.
I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart today. Now, if that didn't at least put a smirk on your face, then we got to work on your joy. Okay, we got to work on your joy. First of all, where does joy come from? Where's joy come from?
Your heart.
In the heart, right? What is joy? Joy is that cosmic energy that's been created by God. Joy is that molecular energy that's a part of the intrinsic nature of our soul. Joy is inside of our heart and accessible to everybody. And I'm going to teach you two very simple, maybe not easy, but two very simple ways to access uncommon joy. Now, in order to understand what uncommon joy is, let's talk about common joy. What's common joy? What's joy? Where does it come from?
Happiness.
Happiness. Stimulation.
Doing something that makes you feel good.
Satisfaction. Doing something that makes you feel good. How about your preferences? Your preferences, right? Not just your preferences, but like your extreme preferences. Like those things that you really, really, really like puppies and kittens, right? You know, like your favorite person that walks into the party that you haven't seen in a while. Your favorite meal. These outside stimuli, right? They trigger that joy that's already inside of you. That's just common joy. And we love that. So we seek those outside preferences in life, right? We're looking for that joy. Have you ever heard the saying you bring me so much joy. You bring so much joy to my life. It's not that these outside things are bringing us joy. These outside things are triggering the joy that's inside of us. They're triggering that wellspring of joy, yeah? So we want to live in what's called uncommon joy. But you got to understand that in order to be in uncommon joy, you got to clean up your joy pipes. Did you know you have pipes inside of you? Right? Did you know that God made pipes inside of you? You've got these things called joy pipes inside of you, right? But your joy pipes are gunked up. So we need to clear it out with some spiritual Drano. Amen? All right? We need to call on Spirit to clear out those joy pipes so that you can experience uncommon joy. Joy for no reason. Joy for the small things. Joy for the mundane. Joy for simply being alive. Uncommon joy. And there's two simple ways to access this uncommon joy. Now, one is praise be to God. Yeah? Seriously. Gratitude. Gratitude. If you can master gratitude, I'm talking about daily gratitude. Mastering gratitude, whether you say, thank you, universe, thank you, God, thank you, thank you, thank you for the abundance in my life. If you learn how to create this habit, then you're gonna access something. You're gonna cultivate something that's real and rich. I meditate and pray every single morning, every single day, right? Something I've discovered in my wise old age is that if I start my daily prayers and meditation saying thank you to God, then I'm less likely to have complaints afterwards or a honey-do list afterwards. I'm less likely to ask God for things. I'm less likely to show up to the plate needy because I've said thank you first. I have filled my cup with true, genuine gratitude. And my guides, my angels, they came through. They were like, you know what, J-Mon, you're really good at this, but you've only got half of the equation to experience uncommon joy. I was like, well, what is that? I want to experience more of that. They're like, you know how much gratitude you give to God, praise you give to the universe? I was like, yeah, well done. Now give that 100% praise and gratitude back to yourself. Back to yourself. And if you can learn how to master giving that gratitude that you feel, genuine gratitude for your life, back to yourself, then you will clear yourself open to experience uncommon joy. That is the spiritual dream. To be able to say, thank you, J-Mom, for being such an amazing person. You know that good deed you did for somebody earlier? That was awesome, J-Mom. Hey, you know that you actually woke up early when you're not a morning person, you made it here today? You rock, J-Mom, right? Yes. You went to bed early when you wanted to fiddle around on your game on your phone. You rock, J-Mom, you're awesome. Can you find the subtle, simple ways to say thank you to yourself? To give gratitude to yourself. And those two things, gratitude to God, gratitude to yourself, will clear out that gunk in your joy pipes for you to experience uncommon joy. Now that second one, like I said, I'm new to this. You know, it's easy for me to project all the praise onto God and just say thank you. You know, thank you, God, for my life. Thank you for my partner. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my opportunities. Thank you for my 6 cats, you know, right? Thank you for my beautiful home. But then turning it around and giving that same genuine appreciation towards me is more challenging. Like I say, enlightenment is simple. It's not easy, right? These two things I'm suggesting today to create uncommon joy, simple. Praise to God, praise to yourself. Not easy. They take practice. How many of you guys brush your teeth here every night, every day?
Not every day.
Well, you know. You might forget, right?
I try to.
But let me ask you this. Why do you brush your teeth? No,
Why you've been told to.
Keep them clean. Been told to, but why do you brush your teeth?
So they can stay white.
So they say why?
Make us feel clean.
To make you feel clean, so they don't decay,
Yeah.
right? So they don't decay. There's a reason. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. We don't want our teeth to rot out of our face, guys. That's why we brush our teeth every single day, right? So that's a physical habit to keep yourself from physically decaying. These are spiritual habits to keep yourself from spiritually decaying. Okay? These are just as important, and we forget about that. So when I say thank you to God and thank you to yourself, this has to be a daily habit just as important as brushing your teeth so that you do not spiritually rot inside. And so like I said, I had to go deep, real deep, in order to find new accesses of freedom, of joy within myself, appreciation. And I looked at, like, how do I clean up the gunk? And that gunk, first of all, that's the lies, the illusions that are inside of us that we've been told, yeah? And I looked at, like, where am I not appreciating myself? Where have I never appreciated myself? And I just recently did this. And I looked at, how many of you guys can relate to being like the black sheep of the family, right? How many of you guys are like the naughty girl, like the naughty boy, right? I did everything wrong growing up. I brought shame to my family, shame, like real shame, okay? I embarrassed the family reputation and name, you know what I mean, right? And I literally was programmed that I'm just a bad person. Like I'm a bad girl. Like I'm a bad older sister. And I carried some of that with me. On a subconscious level, on an unconscious level, I carry that with me. And so I went real deep and I looked at, I am an amazing role model for my little brother and sister. And I had never given myself that acknowledgement before. I never said that to myself. I never acknowledged, I am an amazing role model for my little brother and sister. Because they always did everything right. But how blessed and lucky are they to have an older sister like me that is a way shower of what it's like to experience real joy, real uncommon joy. There's a way shower to show what it's like to be resilient after all the struggles and the pains and the traumas, to fight back, to come back with strength and with courage. Yeah? My parents don't model that. Not the way that I do. So how amazing am I? I'm an amazing sister, an older sister. I'm the best older sister that my little brother and sister could have ever received. I'm an amazing role model. And I started to feel that, guys. I started to feel that because truth will unclog illusion. And that illusion started to like spiritually drain over through my pipes, through my joy pipes. And I was feeling real life force chi course through my veins. That's joy. That's uncommon joy. It's the freedom from illusion. It's being able to acknowledge the truth by acknowledging yourself. By saying, thank you for being such an amazing being. Praise be to God. Praise be to yourself. So to wrap this up, only if you want to experience joy, and I know you're in your pajamas at home, so you can do this, okay? Don't worry about the person sitting next to you. Only if you want to experience joy. Everybody with me?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Way down in my heart. Way down in my heart. I got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Way down in my heart. Today, I wish you all uncommon joy. Praise be to God. Praise be to yourself.
Thank you, Jayma. That was good. I liked it. And you know what I liked about what she said is she called it uncommon. And I like the way that she said that because sometimes we got to think about things uncommon. And we got to think of them in a different way, right? She's talking about the small things, the mundane things. Does anybody else make things too hard? Do you think about things in every day and put too much pressure on yourself and say, how do I do this? We make it too hard to figure out what that joy should look like, what the uncommon joy should be when it's in everyday things, when it's in the small things. It doesn't have to be some grandiose thing. It can just be the 5 minutes or the 20 minutes that you get in the morning to sit and be and do whatever you need to do. But it's those small things, those uncommon things, and it is what it is for you. It looks different for everybody. Our next speaker is going to bring out your inner child because she's going to talk about the inner child and how it helped her with her own joy. Because I think a lot of us find that we remember true joy when we think about that inner child, when we think about that innocence that we had as an inner child. And am I right that when you hear songs from your childhood, it takes you right back? It gets you in that good mood. Or maybe it's something else from your inner child. When you bring it out as an adult, it gets to take you back. And guys, it literally does something to your brain. It gets it in your bloodstream and it gets flowing. So please welcome Miss Sasha Serene as she tells us about her inner child and how that relates to her joy.
Hello, good morning. How's everybody doing? Woo! Yay! Yeah! Do it again. Yeah! From the bottom of your soul, from your core. Yeah! Yay! There we go. All right. Yes. We're going to do a little exercise. I love engaging people. So we're going to stand up and give yourself some room. Tuck in the chairs. We're going to do a little bit of child yoga. Child yoga. When was the last time you actually played around and was in your brain? You were in your brain and imagined yourself as being a lion.
Last night, all the time.
Last night. Hey, we were keeping it very peachy. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. So I want you to just imagine yourself being a lion. What does a lion look like? Start expressing it with your body. Big, right? They got a big mane, big expansive, right? They're strong. They're just like, and they blow in the wind, right? And they're just moving around. What about a roar? Can I get a roar? All right. What about an elephant? Imagine an elephant. Can we give out?
I can't make that.
Right? Some elephants. Some elephants. Yeah. That's your trunk. I gotta sit on camera. I'm getting too excited. Your trunk, right? What about those big old ears that they have, right? You know, we just like kind of like walk around with our big old ears. Just imagine that.
Heavy steps.
Heavy steps. There we go. Hi guys. Getting up and close now. All right. What about climbing a tree? There's so many trees in the jungle, right? When was the last time you climbed a tree when you were a kid, right? You're just like climbing trees. Follow with me. Climbing trees. Climbing trees. Get some movement. Okay. We got some sloth looking like over here. He's going like this. Yeah, like a little sloth. Heck yeah. What about a monkey? Come on, we gotta get nice and personal with this one. Move around, guys, move around. Gorilla, how about pounding your chest? Pounding your chest, guys. Wake up. Beautiful, beautiful. How's that making you feel? A cheetah. Okay, how's a cheetah? J Mom, let's listen.
Growls.
And then head.
Sexy and stealth. And then
Exercise. And they eat you. Yes. And then if they're tamed, maybe you can go pet. No. But how's that making you feel? What's happening for you right now? Close your eyes. What's happening for you right now?
Lighter.
Lighter?
peace.
Peace? Who else? Open.
Playful.
Playful. We got some singing going on.
Jungle.
Beautiful. Huh? Happy. It's that inner joy that we're feeling, right? Just being imaginative. Go ahead and sit down. Go ahead and sit down. Great job, guys. Yoga's usually like, 20, 30 minutes, but we're not going to do that here. So, the definition of joy is happiness. It comes internal. But like J-Ma said, sometimes we always have to go chasing for that happiness. When was the last time you just sat and was happy? Just sat down and chose to be happy. When did you stop tapping into your inner child? So today we're going to talk about the lack of joy. I'm going to give some self-disclosure. We're going to talk about inner child healing. We're going to talk about how to regain joy, how to get support out of joy. And then we're going to review everything at the end, the 8 pillars, and see if you can catch those 8 pillars as I speak. Just write them down and then yell them at the end. So a little self-disclosure, joy was really hard for me. Having to fulfill the expectations of everyone, fitting in that box, compartmentalizing myself in order to be liked, in order to be loved, in order to be accepted. That came with sadness, that came with depression. That came with lots of anxiety, suicidal thoughts. I talked about this during self-love. When we're not choosing ourselves, we're choosing to live the life of somebody else. So when was the last time you actually chose to live your own life without thinking about somebody else? Can we cuss in here?
Yes.
Yep. Fuck your mom.
Yep.
Fuck your dad. Fuck your partner. Fuck your brothers. Fuck your sisters. Fuck whoever it is. What do you want? Start challenging the morals you were given. Start challenging the values you were given. And start questioning every single one.
This is the T.R.U.E series.
The T.R.U.E series.
The reason you exist.
The reason you exist. Thank you for that reminder. Also, true joy comes from learning. I don't know it all. Because I know I don't know it all, I'm going to be open and receptive to somebody teaching me, even if I want to resist it sometimes. Sometimes we end up bashing our own selves due to that reason, because of our values, because we're not questioning. You start isolating yourself sometimes. Oh, I'm not going to fit in here. What are they going to think about me? Maybe you end a relationship and it hurts so bad that you just don't want to continue. Some people end up committing suicide through that as well. And when we look at the flip side, has anyone ever looked back at their life and start laughing at a very hard time?
Yes.
Yeah? Does anyone want to yell out a specific one if you want to?
I shit myself in public.
You shit yourself in public.
It was terrible when it happened, but it's funny now.
I've shit myself, I've sharted. You know?
I remember being so vulnerable after me and my father's father broke up, and I met my daughter's biological father, and just I fell for every single thing he said in a short amount of time, and within 2 months found myself, after coming so far, homeless, jobless, and now pregnant with my third child. And I felt like a fool going through that, like an absolute fool. But looking back now, you know, and having the wisdom I have now and stuff, I'm like, it was pretty funny because I thought I was so fucking smart then. I thought I had it all together, so I laugh at that. But it's, you know, the beauty of growth and experience. So
Yeah, you found yourself laughing at how smart you thought you were, and you're like, I
And
got
I
my
was
shit figured out.
I was so dumb. I'm like, how did you fall for that? But
And now you look back and you're laughing at it, and then you're able to pick up what it is that you don't want in your life and choosing that joy and choosing to be living a life that you want now. In this case, creating T.R.U.E series, activate your own power and everything else. Living your dream, not anybody else's. One more. Okay.
Well,
Okay, two more.
Following up on J Law, I pissed my pants. It was the same pants I cleaned.
Glad you washed them.
you didn't say that.
Just very bad a little bit, throw some Febreze on
Hey,
it.
that was mostly water.
Add a
So
little.
what came up for me was I actually find racism funny. Like I remember as growing up, I was so afraid of it and everything. But now, whenever I like experience that ignorance, like on social media or whatever, I'm like, you know, it's just funny now. It's just like for me, it's like there's a level of being able to look like at our as a collective society our past ignorance and see it today. Like how could that even? Where were we? You know? And to the point where it gets to a space of humor, like we were children. You know?
Yeah.
And still children in some ways, but at the same time, it's like you don't really separate this because it's like don't want to separate dogs or cats because of their color. So
Yeah.
now I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of the category of more humor for me now than it is like pain, at least for me.
Yeah, you're finding the humor in how in society we have separated and segregated ourselves, and now you're looking at it as a human race. You're looking at we're all together. Why are we even doing that? Why are we separating? And it's humorous for you. You're finding that humor in there.
Yeah, there's like humor and healing of I used to be afraid of it, and now it's like it's just a space of inner joy about the whole process of humanity.
You have a greater understanding of where these people are.
Yeah, hurt people hurt people.
Hurt
Yes.
people do hurt people.
Yeah.
Hurt people do hurt people, and sometimes subconsciously we hurt another individual without even knowing, or consciously too, because of being petty.
Pettiness, yeah.
Pettiness is a big thing too. So you're choosing to find that inner joy within yourself, and so you can ripple that out to other people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the lack of joy brings us a lot of heartache. When we just don't choose that joy, sometimes it's so hard to look at joy because you're so down and depressed and in the dumps that it takes courage to even open your blinds. That it takes courage to even take a shower. It takes courage to even feed your cat. And it takes courage sometimes to even have that conversation and just saying that hello to somebody. So the next time you see someone who is being isolated or lacking that joy, just give them a hug. How are you doing? Not how you doing. How are you doing? Eye contact, making that bond, connecting with another human being. Because like Alan Little said, we're not different. We're no different. The only difference between me and someone in, I don't know, Africa is their geography. That's it. They live in a whole different area. Your inner child healing. So what does joy mean for you? What is one thing that comes to your mind that makes you happy? Yell it out.
Singing.
Singing. I didn't know you sing. Okay.
Dancing.
Dancing. Anybody
My
else?
cats.
Your cats. Yes.
Pickleball.
Pickleball. Cool.
People.
People. People make you happy, Lord. That's amazing.
Being alive.
Being alive.
Eating.
Simply existing. Thank you for that yesterday. So my partner is here today, and he told me just by simply existing, we should be able to feel just alive. I was feeling really down yesterday. By the way, I'm nervous as fuck right now too. So.
Feel it.
You're like, great.
You feel it? Yeah, totally. But that's the joy of it though. I'm finding the joy in nervousness. Why is it that I'm nervous? Just working through that process, really going in deep, like J-Ma said, cleaning out your pipes. And for me, talking to you, expressing to you what I've been going through is more goal to me than anything else, being able to serve you guys and to share with you my personal experiences. So, to regain joy, where are you willing to look for them? It's the little things. It's the holding the hands. It's the peck on the cheek. It's finding a dog in the park, which we found. We went for a walk, and then all of a sudden we found a puppy, and now we have that puppy, and it's bringing us so much joy. And it's also being very therapeutic. So where can you coach yourself? Where can you find that therapy within yourself without seeking it in other people? Because sure, you can go to a community. You can hear me speak, and I talked about this in self-love. You can go ahead and hear me speak, read all the self-help books, hire a coach, and do all the shit on this planet that everyone has an opinion about and is trying to put into your brain, but it's gonna be up to you in order to choose that self-love, in order to choose that true confidence and that true joy. It's gonna be your choice. The appreciation of yourself growing from mindful actions. Absolutely right. The appreciation of yourself. When was the last time you appreciated yourself or who you are? Now, real quick, who are you? Without the titles, without being a brother, a sister, a mother, a friend, a boyfriend, who are you?
Is.
You is. Who you is?
Peace.
Your peace.
I am who I am.
I am who I am.
Badass.
I'm a badass.
Everything else.
You're everything. You're everything. I am me. You are me. I am you. 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 And I'm you. And I'm me. Looking at the camera. And I'm everybody in the audience from YouTube. When we start doing some inner healing and we really start tapping into ourselves, we see ourselves in another person. And we end up giving that love and compassion. And sure, it may not be easy, it may not be simple, but it's gonna take a lot of work to do that. You need to be patient with yourself. Patience goes such a long way. We have a joiner. Hi, friend. Hi. Real quick, what's your name, babe?
Michelle.
Michelle. What brings you joy, Michelle?
Life.
Life. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for that. Welcome. Letting go of your past. Oh my God. Who still holds on to their fucking past? I should see everyone's hands up. maybe I shouldn't see everyone hands up because that's what I expected for you guys to do, right? Because I've held on to my past, so everyone else should be holding on to their past too. That's inner work, that's inner observance. Huh?
Intentional living practice.
Intentional living practice, yes. So letting go of your past weighs us down so much, and then we're not living our true purpose because of the things that we have in our brains. Create a ritual for yourself. Anybody have rituals for themselves? Okay, anybody want to yell it out?
I park in front of a hen house and meditate.
You go to a hen house and meditate?
Yes.
Cool, okay.
Right in front of the grocery store.
Right in front of the grocery store. That's awesome. That's unique. Okay. Anybody else?
I get up really early and sit with myself in silence and with God in the morning.
Amazing.
I dance in the mirror every day.
You dance in the morning?
Before I start my day.
I'm gonna start that. Shoot. You raised your hand.
Silence.
Silence.
In the morning, first thing.
In the morning, first thing.
I start my morning with gratitude.
Gratitude. Yeah. Every morning.
I drink wine every night because I believe in the blood of Christ.
Yes.
It's my ritual. My nightly ritual.
Fuck yeah. I love that because Jima, you're living that joy. You're like, fuck what anybody else thinks. I'm gonna drink my own cup of wine because that's what makes me feel good. And you don't care about what anybody else thinks because you're living your truth and you're so alive in your process that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Is Jima meant for joy?
Yeah, Jai victory.
Jai, joy? Okay. Huh, okay. Good thing she went first. I want everybody to get up real quick again. And I want you to look at someone, choose anybody and look at someone in the eye. Lori and David?
There we go.
Okay, Lori, you can come here, Miss Nancy. All right. And just hold that connection with them. Look at your partner in the eye.
I know, me too.
Now I want you to open your arms, and if you're comfortable, take a step forward and hug them. There you go. Good job, guys.
Stay in your stance.
Stay in your stance. She wants to take a photo.
I got at least one.
Okay, you got one.
Okay.
There you go. There's another one.
We got
There's another one. The boys.
Yes.
The boys. Yes. That's romance right there. I love that.
I didn't see you standing.
Hold on. I got a picture coming up. Wait. There you go.
Amazing. All right, guys, you can go ahead and disconnect. We're trying to keep it rated PG. Hands above the waist. How's that making you feel right now? Yell it out.
Love.
Love.
Appreciate it.
Appreciated.
Happy.
Not
Connected.
connected. Yeah. That's what we need in this world. We've been so isolated, even with the pandemic. What happened? We had to all be hermits and be in our houses and lose that connection with one another and not bond with one another. And there's a stigma right now, especially in Western culture, that love, thank you. I always go past my time. That love is a stigma. Two men can't start hugging each other because it's gay. A man can't hug another woman without doing this because of her breasts. When did we start sexualizing bonding and connection? When did we start sexualizing so many things that just don't need to be sexualized? So the next time you see somebody that you love and you want to just hug, go ahead and do it. And if your partner gets mad at that, maybe it's your partner needing to work through something else. And holding that space for them. So I'm on time. I always go past my time. But, so quick questions. Maybe you want to jot them down, but ask yourself, where can you choose joy? Question number 2, where do you need to go inside yourself to not be disturbed by the disturbances? Emotional leverage. How will you use the emotion of joy to impact your life? Don't forget to create, guys. Music, poetry, art, podcasts, kitchen, dance moves, whatever it is. And since I am on time, I'll just give you the 8 pillars of joy. We're going to talk about that. You want to name it out? Oh, got it. Okay, cool. 8 pillars of joy. First one is perspective. Can you look at your life in a different way? Can you start choosing to do things in a different way? Humility. Humbling yourself, knowing that you may have done wrong. You have done wrong to others, and also done wrong to yourself for literally almost your whole life until you've chosen not to. Find the humor in it. Laugh at it. Laugh at it because there's nothing else that you can do but just laugh. Having sorrow and pain and suffering, it's not going to do you anything. If you're going through sorrow and pain and suffering right now, how far has that gotten you? Maybe that's your survival tactic, but what about you? What about starting to live? Acceptance. Accepting where you are, looking at yourself objectively, and giving yourself that empathy. Writing it down and finding where it is that you can change the trajectory of your life. When I look out, it's because I'm imagining things.
Oh,
Forgiving yourself. Forgive yourself and forgive yourself and forgive yourself more, because no one's going to forgive you as much as you forgive yourself. And if you're not willing to forgive yourself, how do you expect somebody else to forgive you? If you're not willing to trust yourself, how do you expect somebody else to trust you? Gratitude. Always wake up being grateful. Doesn't matter if your finances are low. It doesn't matter if your person is breaking up with you. It doesn't matter if your job is giving you shit. It doesn't matter that you're thinking about the future, because the future hasn't happened. Having compassion for yourself and having that generosity for others. And last but not least, giving to somebody else. When you gave a hug to somebody, you felt joy, you felt happy, you felt open. Start giving to somebody else even when it's hard. Because that's where that joy comes from. Because when it's hard, you're probably not giving a lot. And if you really take an audit of your life, you're going to see that you're not giving as much as you think you are. Being of service without the expectation of anything or anyone. The Dalai Lama says, seek to be an oasis of caring and concern as you live your life. Caring and concern. With that, I'll end my time. I love you all individually for you being you. I appreciate you.
Thank you for that, Sasha. I love that. And I want you to think about something that was recurring in that, and that is choose joy, because it is a choice. It is a choice that we make every day, and it doesn't have to be a big one, but it is a choice, and it may look different by the day, by the season. So you may have to figure out what it means for you right now, but it is yours to choose, no matter what is going on in your life. We are going to take just a few minutes of a break, and then we will be right back with you.
exactly at 11.
Right now it's fine. All right, y'all. We are back. We are ready to go, and we got 3 more speakers for you. So I want to ask everybody again. I know this has been brought up a couple of times, and now we have a couple more people in here. What do you think of when you think of joy?
Brightness.
Brightness.
Vitality.
What?
Vitality.
Vitality.
Natural,
Love. What was yours?
natural state.
Natural state. All right. When I used to think of joy, I used to think of a long-haired, curly girl that was not me, frolicking with her flowy dress through a field of flowers, and that was totally unreal to me. I thought, okay, that was just a vision that was in my head. Probably because I didn't understand joy. I didn't understand it for myself, didn't understand what it meant for me. And it took me a really, really long time to figure out what the heck joy meant to me. And it took me so long, in fact, that I put an entire dang chapter about it in my book to talk about, here's how I found mine. Here's how I figured out what it meant for me. And you know what I found? I found that it meant something different in every stage of life. But I didn't understand that at first. Because when I was younger, obviously, different things gave me joy than when I'm older. Shocking. And I would move to another stage of life, and I naturally just start doing new things, but I never really thought about what in those things was giving me joy. And so I had to figure out how to wrap my head around it, because I'm like, okay, like that picture of the girl frolicking is from a fairy tale, and we all have our own versions of fairy tales, but to me that wasn't real, not at all. So how did I change that? Shifted my perspective, and I learned to think differently. And 2 recent things have very much helped me figure out how to do that for me. The first one was I recently went on a decently, probably too long, international vacation, and I was probably not as ready as I could have been. I thought I was, but I went and I was kind of like, okay, here we go. Lots of things are up in the air. It was lots of travel. Travel gives me high anxiety, and I had never done this much, especially at once. So we started going, and we of course had some roadblocks, had some different things happen, and I was going somewhere far enough to where if something happened here at home, I could get back, but it would take me a good while to where I wouldn't really be able to do a whole lot of anything. So I traveled. I was on my vacation, and things started to happen at home. Things that I had no control over. And you know what I did? I enjoyed my vacation because I had no other choice. It was either sit on this delightful vacation that I will likely not get to go on again, these places, also because the vacation is stopping due to regional issues, so there's that. But I'm sitting on this week-long international vacation, and things keep on happening. Not great things. But what could I do about it? So I kept on enjoying myself. I would sit in the early morning and I would have my coffee. I would go enjoy the different locations I was going to, because why not? I'm here. It's either be all up in my head and think about all the things that I can't do a dang thing about at home, or enjoy the people, enjoy myself, and say, I can't control any of that. I can control where I'm at, what I'm thinking right now. So that week all happened, the things all happened, it was what it was. Well then, on my way back, keep in mind, I was international. I have not traveled a whole lot international. I was not by myself, thank God. Well, we got going, it had been a long day. Where was I sitting at the end of this long day? But an international airport in Bogota, Colombia. You know how much Spanish I speak? Like, maybe 5 words. And a lot of those aren't gonna help me in an airport, right? Not gonna help me. And so I started doing what I could in the moment. They lost my baggage tag. I said, okay, how do I figure that out? Got in communication on my app, downloaded the app I need, did all this stuff. Okay, done. I sat in the airport and had my iPad, my keyboard, wrote the talks that I needed to write. I colored in my sparkly adult coloring book because I wanted to. And then what happened is the people at the gate, again, speaking very little English, me not doing great with it, tell me that they can't find my bags because it switched from one airline to another. Also, Lauren, if we can't find your bags, granted, keep in mind, this is 11:30 at night, this is a red-eye flight. Lauren, if we don't find your bags, you don't leave. Excuse me? I mean, what bag? I didn't check bag. No idea what you're talking about. It's 11:30 at night, I'm tired. It's fine. Thank God we found it. This all happened 10 minutes before this red eye left. You think I was experiencing joy at that time? No. But do you think I let that 10 minutes steal it from me? You know what I did instead? We figured it out, and I thought, man, I've learned a lot of good things about international travel, because when I have to do this on my next stage of life, I know what to do. I know how to work through it. In the middle of it, when I'm sitting in an international airport 10 minutes before I leave, and they say, we don't have your bags, been there, done that. And then I thought, okay, I've had all this time to be where I need to be in my own head and to experience all this. I found the joy in that difficulty because that's not been taken away from me. That's the travel, the physical aspect. How many people here are destination people?
Like travel people?
Yeah.
There we go.
I got a destination to get to, let's get there. Yeah? Okay, that's me
I'm a
too.
journey person.
All right. I'm a destination person. I always have been, and it's been a real struggle for me lately because God has been saying, Lauren, let go of the destination. Get your head wrapped around finding the joy in the journey, because I'm kind of like, okay, I have my to-do list, I'm gonna get it done. Am I enjoying the moment? Am I enjoying where I'm at?
Stop trying to get to the finish line.
Stop trying to get to the finish line. I wasn't doing that. I always, it's not a bad thing to be thinking about where you need to get in the future. It's not a bad thing. But it was stealing my joy. So then I said, okay, How do I stop? I want to go to these places anyway. How do I enjoy me? How do I enjoy the moment? You know what I do? I enjoy the 20-minute traffic car line in the morning to get to work. Most people hate traffic. I kind of love it. It gives me time in my head. I enjoy the 30 minutes that I get to sit down and record a podcast with somebody, because I love to do that. I love to produce that. But I found the joy in all that. Whatever it is, I chose how to find joy in where I'm at. I figured out that it wasn't that girl frolicking through the field, but you know what? It's also changed in every season of life. What has brought me joy has changed. And I think we try to hold on to what gives us joy in the past, and sometimes we need to let go of that and think about what gives us joy now, because each season of life will bring us new things to find joy in, because it's about enjoying and finding the joy in where you're at. And sometimes that's hard, because those seasons of life are crazy, they are chaotic, and they hurt. But joy is a choice. Finding the joy in the hard is a choice. And has anybody else experienced the fact that when there's something that you need to learn in that season of life, when you need to learn to find the joy, you don't get out of that dang season of life until you learn to find the joy. Yes.
Shut up.
I'll call that one.
Yeah, like personally attacking.
But it is a choice, whether it is something physical, whether you have literally a destination to get to, find the joy in going from point A to point B, and then coming back from point B back to point A. Even if it sucks, even if it terrifies you, even if it means you're broken down on the side of the road somewhere and you gotta figure it out, the joy is in the growth. It's in the, yeah, figure that out. Look at me. Yeah. Learn to find the joy in whatever you're doing, even in the hard times, because that's what carries you through. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now y'all get another amazing speaker, and he's gonna talk about just owning yourself, because that is very much what it takes to find joy and find the joy in yourself. Just own yourself. Please welcome James Love.
Like sunshine and rain, joy and pain. It's like sunshine and rain. Man, when I was a child, singing in the shower, that brought me joy. When I was a child, dancing brought me joy. I remember I was like 5 years old when I was at an after-school program. They had a dance competition. It was me and 30 other kids, and we was like winning this cool toy. I forget what the toy was, but I remember it was something that was worth having at that age. So I'm in there dancing, getting it, just enjoying myself, and it turns out that the DJ picked me to win. I couldn't believe it. It's like me winning this competition for dancing. It was an amazing time, but over the years, it kind of turned into being more self-conscious about dancing in public. You know, I went from bringing and having so much joy from just being myself to like hiding and only dancing when nobody's looking. So today we're gonna have a dance party. Everybody stand up. It's something we all know. It's a classic. Get it going. All right.
All right.
Stretch it out, stretch it out.
walking down.
I don't walk out with them.
Doing too much.
Oh my God.
Everybody know this? Not yet, not yet, not yet.
I'm excited.
Hey, Macarena. Hey, Macarena. That was good, it was good. You still there, party? We're running out of time looking right now. But I say that just to say that joy is always available to us. Joy is always there, but it's up to us to choose to focus and tune in into that essence, into that spirit. I need a show of hands. How many people have a radio in their car? So you know, I'm gonna say there's a radio tower and then there's the receiver, the radio. I'm gonna say this plant right here is like a radio tower, and see how it's like giving off all these pedals. That means it's giving off all these frequencies all at the same time. And we have the radio, which is the receiver, which is receiving the frequency based off the dial that is tuned in. So imagine now there's, 6 little pre-programmed stations and buttons. This is, dating myself, right? So now we use phones and streaming. But, when the radio was full boom, there's 6 programs. And we only use probably about the first 2 or 3, at least that's how I use it, Hot 103, 98.1. But those are programs that are easily accessible, right? Those are the programs that we can just press and the music just flows and plays, right? So we gotta ask yourself, what programs are already conditioned into your radio? What programs are easily accessible at just the flick of a button? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Is it joy? Is it fear? Is it pain? What program are you easily able just to press and tap into? Because it's up to us to be able to switch that dial and tune into. And if it's not joy, it's okay. If it's not happiness, it's okay. But knowing that you still have the ability to go through the stations and find joy, it may take some time. That's the process. You may have to go through 50 channels, 50 frequencies, listen to music you don't even like, but yet maybe in that time you don't like it. 6 months down the road, something catches your ear. Taking the time to sift through the frequencies allows you to reprogram new stations into that little radio box to make it more easily accessible in your everyday life. And then when you have joy playing, doesn't mean that it's joyful every day. Listen to the radio, you have commercials that you don't like, you have songs that you don't like, but the main station plays the dominant songs that you do like. So every day is not going to be joyful. Every day is not going to be peaches and cream, rainbows and sprinkles. But the dominant frequency is seeing life from that station of joy. That's the power you have. I work with kids on the weekends, and their program station is joy for the most part. They're able to tap into that frequency, into that energy with ease. If something happens to them, what I learned from them is 2 things. They feel their feelings, and they know how to play.
Yep.
2 things that's happening in joy: feeling your feelings and knowing how to play. And see, what separates adults from children is they express their feelings with a raw vigor. They don't hold it in. And see, as we get older, we're supposed to learn how to feel our feelings and control the emotional expression. But yet, for me at least, as I've grown older, I've just learned how to be a caged bird and, dim my light and not allow that sunshine to radiate because I was scared of what that may cause, reaction-wise in other people or in myself, self-criticism, judgment, being my own worst critic, right? Having that self-talk in my mind saying that I can't do this, I can't do that, right? It's all rooted in, perceived imperfections of myself, right? So me not being able to accept myself causes me to be able to, I want to just hold that part of me inside and not allow that to radiate forward because I'm scared that somebody else is going to judge me the way I judge myself. But see, learning and being with these kids is they don't care. They do not care. They will just be them and go back to playing. Because that's their main frequency that they're tuned into. The first 2-3 buttons on their radio is joy, happiness, sometimes sadness. And that's okay. They're okay with that. And that's what brings me to, I brought this whiteboard. Joy. Just owning you. That's what I learned. What I'm learning right now is to own myself. Own your quirks. Own your weirdness. Own your differences. Own your patterns. Own your habits. Own yourself fully and completely. That is who you are. That is how you were made. That is how you were expressed, to own yourself, the flaws, to perceive flaws, let me say that.
To own your handwriting.
Own my handwriting, my chicken scratch. Exactly, yes. Right, exactly, yes. Own everything, my singing. I can't sing, but still, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna belt. The dancing, just own every part of you. That's how you tap into the frequency of joy, right? Because in order to own it, you have to know yourself. And in order to know yourself, you have to reconnect back to who you are. Reconnect back to your power, back to your essence, the presence of the childlike spirit that's waiting for the release, that's waiting for its expression without fear of reprimand, without fear of being rejected, without fear of somebody abandoning you because you're choosing to express who you are. How many people are walking that journey right now of expressing themselves unapologetically? Let me see it. Show of hands. It's a process. It's a path. It takes courage. It takes commitment. It takes intention. And that brings me to I dream. What are you dreaming today? This is a part of the Power Path process that, as Activate Your Power Now, we are creating and cultivating. The I is intention. It starts with each and every one of you intending to dream a new dream in your life. To dream a new dream where joy is your main program. To dream a new dream where you're able to accept your imperfections, where you're able to be with who you are no matter its expression, right? And that's the tough journey that we came here to walk. You're here today, you're walking that journey already if you didn't know. Now the D the D in dream stands for disconnect, discover, and decide. So in order to know ourselves, we have to disconnect from our distractions. The distractions that is pulling our attention away from the knowledge of who we really are. And in this life, there's plenty of distractions all around us, pulling our attention. They say attention is currency. So what are you giving your attention to right now? And then we have to discover what that essence really is, tapping back into our inner child, going back and saying, okay, what did I love to do before I felt shame for doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the energy of our true self. And then deciding to live and commit yourself to living that out fully, never betraying your heart, never going without, never dismissing that part of you that's inside waiting for its revelation, for its download, for its love, for its courage to be who you came here to be, to love yourself as you are, to be the shining light for others, because by being yourself, you give others the permission to be themselves fully, completely, and unapologetically. So I have another task for you guys. There's a mirror over here. There's only 8 mirrors. Pass these around. If you don't have a mirror, you can use your front camera. Everybody online, if you don't have a mirror, use your front camera.
I don't see nobody making that with the mirror,
Everybody
okay?
has a mirror, so mirror on the wall, right? I want everybody to stare in that mirror, stare in your eyes, and repeat after me. Say, I own me.
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 Perfect. I want you to say one thing that you're grateful for about yourself.
Say it out loud.
Say that. Say it out loud or say it to yourself.
I'm grateful for my smile.
Smile is beautiful.
I'm grateful that I'm willing to be ridiculous.
Yes, tapping into the energy.
I'm grateful for finally accepting myself.
That's powerful. Yes. Thank you.
I am grateful for my willingness to be vulnerable.
So thank you. Share your truth. Right. Share your truth. Share your truths. And then once you're done, you can place the mirror down. See, it takes time to be able to really understand who you really are. And just like our radio station, it may take some time to sift through the frequencies that's sifting through your feelings, allowing that to really fill up your body, clean out those joy pipes, and allow a new dawn to set into your day, a new beginning, a new essence to fill your spirit. So I'm gonna end this. I got a poem. True joy. The reason you exist is to just own you even in the midst of the greatest challenge. Because in that pain and suffering, there's an immense gift. A gift that can close your rift, give you the choice and possibilities to be able to sift through the many facets of your being, to be able to shift and lift into a new scene, a new believing, a new receiving of a whole new meeting, give you a whole new reason to embrace a whole new season, pulling back the curtains of deception wide, baby, we call that spring cleaning. Open up the windows and letting in the winds that bless our skin with the power of embracing our imperfections, with the power of acceptance of our deepest sins, knowing that we have never been without. So I stand and I shout, I leap without a doubt in my mind, knowing that whatever you see I can achieve, because the joy that radiates from me is the joy that radiates from thee, the power that be, the one and only. As I stand there, dotting my I's and crossing my T's, I plant the seeds that one day will grow into the tallest trees, dropping the finest fruits, attracting the finest bees, setting up you to receive everything that you need, to be everything that you can be, to achieve everything that you can see, to move in life with true glee. God, have mercy on me. Have mercy on us, because we are ready for what's about to go down. True joy gives you your true crown. Just owning yourself gives you the ability to turn that frown upside down and turn your life all the way around, because as long as you have your 2 feet planted firmly on the ground, there's nothing that can hold you down. Thank you.
All right. James said, joy is always available to you, and it is. You just have to sometimes reprogram yourself, which is scary, and figure out how to work through the fear of being yourself, being who you are. Because as he said, you have to know yourself in order to be able to, no, you have to own yourself to know yourself. Did I say that right? Anyway, we get my point. Our final speaker is, I believe, going to bring home that point, because her thought is, you feel true joy when you truly embrace yourself. And I think you'll probably agree. Please welcome to the stage, Miss Skyway.
Inner glow, girl.
Yes, I'm all about that inner glow, because it really starts from the inside, and that's what joy really, really starts from the inside. But joy is something that is pretty magical, actually. It's something that is always there. It's always there. And it's not something physical. It's not something that you can handle physically. You can't push it, force it. You can't put it in a box. It's completely infinite unless you block it. Unless you block it yourself. And there's a lot of different things that people have been saying that I really resonate with from like each of the speakers. And it's interesting because there's so many ways that you actually can block joy from yourself. But one way that I, see a lot of that people block joy from themselves is when they're actually blocking other feelings from themselves. And when you're blocking, because there's a bit of a stigma. There's actually a lot of judgment about emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And especially I think a lot of us, relating to the whole black sheep of the family thing, we probably grew up in families where they expected you to come across a certain way or feel a certain way. If you cry, don't cry. If you're mad, don't be mad. If you're upset, don't be upset. Get over it. Don't show it, right? But it's not even that. It's just there's so much judgment. There's like this category of right and wrong and good and bad, and people put feelings into those categories. So feeling sad is wrong. It's bad. Feeling happy is right. It's good. And so then people are like, okay, well, I only need to feel happy. I need to feel happy all the time, and I'm like super upset, and I just had the worst day of my whole life, but I'm not supposed to feel that. So what do? You shut off the feeling. But you have your heart, and it's your whole heart. And if you shut off feeling something from your heart, you shut off feeling a little bit of everything. So if you're suddenly like, let me shut myself off, you're shutting yourself off. And it's like, one thing I was thinking about is when I was a little kid, there was a certain adult in my life who didn't stay very long in my life, but she made her impact pretty early. And she told me I was a crybaby because I was crying. I don't even remember what happened. But I remember being like, I'm an old soul. And I remember even being aware of that as a little kid. And I was like, I'm a baby, right? And so I was really upset. She was like making fun of me for being a crybaby. And I held on to that for so much of my life. And I was like, I can't cry. And I'm not a crybaby. And I have to prove to everyone I'm not a crybaby. But let's just be real, I'm a total crybaby. I cry all the time. I cry really loud. Yeah, so it's just like, you know what, it's okay. It's okay, but how many of us grew up being told not to be a crybaby and have your body excited? Yeah, it's one of those things. But it's like, yeah, if you try to numb anything, you numb everything. And that's what can be hard though, because sometimes life is hard. I don't know about you guys, but 2023 has been like a shitstorm for me. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that this year, but almost everyone I've talked about has been like, what happened? But what's interesting too about 2023 is while there's been the lows, I've also had some of the highest highs I've ever experienced in my life. So that journey for me personally has been a little bit of a stretch actually. But so when you have numbing, I've experienced a lot of that. I was always like a people pleaser. Let me put myself into a box. Let me be approved of. Let me not overwhelm people. And all the judgments, and I remembered all the things, and I learned all the rules, and I know so much stuff. And I'm like, let me just follow the line, follow the box. And people would get to know me, or they'd try to get to know me, and they'd be like, I don't know what your deal is, but you're kind of closed off, and you're kind of whatever.
and experienced so much of that in my own personal life because I was in different experiences, environments, whatever, where there was no space for me to express my emotions. There was no space for me to even feel my emotions. So I had to numb myself in order to even like get through a day, survive, not lose a job, not lose a relationship. Like it was pretty heavy. Like I had to do that. But what was weird is like even things that used to excite me, like I found seasons of time where suddenly Christmas and my birthday weren't exciting anymore. And the big trips or the family get-togethers, the things I'd always look forward to, they were all kind of just like, whatever. Everything just kind of like, meh. It was just like really, really level. And it was hard for me to see it when I was in it, but sometimes I would see people, especially children, and like my nieces and nephews, and they'd be so like exuberantly happy that I was like, I don't know why, but like I can't even feel that anymore. But I think, also I did put a cap on myself in expressing it because I had this fear of like being too much for people. So it's like all of that. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And there's so much that comes from just expressing yourself, right? And there's a thing that happens when you suppress your emotions. And I think a lot of us have experienced that whenever you express, again, an unhappy emotion, or when you suppress an unhappy emotion. Like you're mad at someone, but you want to be nice to them so you don't tell them that you're mad at them. Or you don't want to like break down in the middle of your office, so you don't, like you're used to what that feels like, and by the time you get to the end of the day, you're pretty worn out. It feels really weird, right? Mm-hmm. So the same thing happens when you do that with a positive emotion. Mm-hmm. And if you're like so excited and so happy and so in love, but you're like, oh, everyone else around me is kind of having a bad day, so let me just like take it down a notch and just not, you do that enough times, it starts to have that same weird pain where you're like, what's going on? I feel super, super blocked. Like, some people have entire relationships like that where they have a person that's in their life all the time and they can't totally express everything. And so then years go by and you're like, what happened to me? Yep. So there's this character, people who've had deep conversations with me have heard this example, but I love it. So I'm going to tell you guys now, and I think it's important. So there's this type of character in the Harry Potter series. I'm a Harry Potter nerd. So there's this type of character called an Obscurial, which is basically like a wizard a witch or wizard, like a magical person in this world who embodies darkness on accident, kind of. But if you really get into the nuts and bolts of what that character is, they actually contain a separate entity that's not themselves, that's living in themselves. And when it comes out, it's all darkness, it's destruction, it's scary. Those are the types of people that in like the Harry Potter world version of like asylums and stuff, they kind of get put in there. But really, you know how it starts for all of them. And I was like, wow, this is in the Harry Potter series, and it's like not really amplified that much in the Harry Potter series, but how it starts is they're born being magic into a world that does not allow them to use their magic. And it's like when you think of that, how real is that? They have this beautiful thing, this beautiful ability, and they're, for whatever reason, whether it's like, it's in the book, it's a lot of like abandoned children type stories, but it's like any reason externally why they take that magic and they have to shove it in, and then it turns into this uncontrollably dark force. In the Fantastic Beasts franchise, there's a character, and it illustrates it really, really well. This like huge dark force ends up like destroying an entire city, kind of a thing. But if you think about it, that darkness and that scariness, it actually started as pure joy. It started as pure magic. And I don't think any of that stuff is fake, just so you know. I'm like, yeah, maybe sure that the names and characters have been changed to like, protect identities and that kind of thing. But like, I think it's real. Like, it is very real. Like, we all are magical. We all can tap into that magic. We can all tap into that joy. And if we like try to box it in or contain it or whatever because we're so judgmental about all the other things, it turns into darkness. But on the flip side, if you start letting it out and you take the cap off and you start that expression, and whatever that means to you, it might just be like, hey, person, I need to tell you something. It might be that direct of an expression. It might also be like, let me write a poem. Let me go paint something. For me, sometimes it's like, let me just go do my hair differently. It could be whatever way you want to like express or just move that energy out. then you'll be able to actually allow yourself to feel all of the beautiful energies that exist in this world and in this life. And you'll be able to actually tap into the infiniteness that is joy. And it's kind of funny too, because it's like a thing that I think happens for a lot of kids. I know it happened for me as a kid, is like you want to be cool. So you don't want to be like goofy or weird or cheesy. So you don't want to be walking around with like this huge smile on your face, right? Because you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now. And people are like, why are you so happy? Like, be cool, you know. And it's so interesting because it's like, no, just let yourself be that goofy. Like, who cares what it looks like? Who cares what your face looks like? Who cares if it's cheesy? Like, cheesy's great. Like, we all secretly love cheesy. It's great. So there's so many ways to experience joy. But for me, I was really, really excited to dive into this topic with you all, especially when I met with Isabel and she sent me a list. I was like, I want to talk about that one. Because it's like people run away from the things that are hard. Mm-hmm. But when you embrace them, like that's a part of life and it's a part of you. And when you embrace all of it, you embrace all of the good as well. So that's pretty much all I got. Just encouraging you to embrace all of you and express all of you and embody that joy.
Something that I totally agree with Sky on, and I think everybody probably needs to work on this a little bit, is I was watching the news one day and all I could see is label, headline and label, headline and label. And it hit me, I'm like, yeah, we don't even necessarily do it to ourselves. Sometimes we do, but the world does everything it can to put us in those boxes so we can understand us. Well, let me tell you, whoever you are, the world needs to understand who all of you is, regardless of if it fits in the box that they want to put you in, because there's not a single person that I know that fits in one single box. And you're not meant to. And when we try, it ends up being exactly kind of what Sky was talking about, is we stifle it, we block it. And then you rid the world of the magic that is what you are supposed to be to the world. I heard someone say something one time and it has stuck with me. So many people can have the same message, want to talk about the same things as you do, and you might have maybe the same little something, but we are all different people, and sometimes you need to hear it from a specific person. I can't hear it from everybody in here, but maybe I can hear it from a couple people. So it doesn't matter if you have the same thing to say. It doesn't matter if you are similar. You are still different. You are still yourself. And that includes where you find your joy, how you find your joy, and how you let the world see your joy. The world needs to see your joy, and you need and deserve to experience it. Don't let the world stifle you. Try not to stifle yourself. We are human. It's not always easy on every day, but the world needs you. They need your magic. They need everybody's magic. They need you to live in that joy. The next couple months of the T.R.U.E series, we'll be talking about wisdom and forgiveness. So please mark your calendars, because guys, these days are powerful, and
We have date corrections in the next 2 months.
we have date corrections.
And I put out a new flyer already, I think on social media, but
Okay.
the first flyer, I had the dates wrong because I didn't realize it was 3 weeks or whatever, 5 weeks in the month. So it's actually June 17th and July 15th.
Okay.
It's always after the second Wednesday.
Okay.
I'll put that on.
I was gonna say, Izzy will put it online, but I want everybody to go on the Activate Your Power Now page somewhere and tell us where you're finding your joy today, whether it be in the everyday, whether it be something in the week. Tell us where you're finding your joy, because we need to hear it, and I want to hear what you got to say, honestly. Thank you all so much, and have a fantastic, magical, joyful Saturday.
Yes.